Hello everyone, my name is LIm Xi Horng. I am student at UTHM. Today I will be sharing my video reflections on web service. To start off, what is web service? In my understanding, it is a standardized technology that allows different applications to communicate over a network. It acts as a universal bridge so the client apps can easily talk to the server regardless of the programming language they use. Let me demonstrate this using a projects I created. So for this exercise, I picked the My Calculate projects. Here is in Apache's NetBeans IDE 12.6. So when I click the My Calculate, it will shows all the file here and we find the web service and click plus and you will see the server code at here. So I'm using the web service annotations to define my server calculate class. Inside, I create four operations, which is add, sum, sum, multiple, and divided. So looking closely at the add methods, I use the web method annotations. It received two float variable, which is x and y. And it will process them to sum, which is returns to x plus y. So this is the core engines for the service. How do I add the operations? We can go here and right click and it got the add operations and click it. Here is the add operation up pages. So then we can rename at here, which add some or so on, and adding parameters to add here, and we also can change the name here and the type. The type also can choose it at here, which is you can choose in booleans, integers, and chars. So in the addings, we use the float. So after that, we can click the OKs and it will proceed at here. So when we run the project at here, right click and run it, it will master waiting at here. So the Java will come out the warnings, but it's okay. Waiting. So okay. And I run again. It will came out the build successfully. So when I run at here, when I test the web service at here, right click and then test the web service. So this is the outputs for this code here. Okay. So by clicking the WSDL file here, it was came out. You can see the XML file. So why do we need this such as WSDL descriptions? We need it because it acts as a contract or instructions manually. Without it, the client applications will not know how to communicate with my calculate. So what do we learn about? What do we learn from it? From reading this file, we learn exactly what the operations are variables like add, here add, and the data types requires request, and the endpoints of the URL showings and the service is hosted. And also the WSDL files is always related to the SOAP files because it's declared the rules. As you can see at right in the WSDL, it defines the message part, which is add, and the parameter, the parts or name is parameters. So it tells us that any incoming SOAP request must contain these exactly elements. So let's see how it's work in actions. I will go back to the tester page in my Edge browser to generate the SOAP request and response. I will input the numbers, which is 10 and 9. So when I click the add buttons, it will can out this one. So this is the titles and this is the numbers of this is the numbers that I click for. There are inputs for the X and this is for Y. So it will return it, which is the answers 19 in float. So got the decimals 0.0. So below the result, we can see the generates SOAP request message and the response message. So here we can perfectly match the SOAP elements to the WSDL elements. Notice how the SOAP request has XML tag literally names X and Y number. Because the WSDL define these exact parameter names, the SOAP request natural use them to wrap my number 10 and 9 and 9. So the server process this perfectly matched to the request and send back the SOAP response contain the answer, which is 19. So in addition, SOAP UI has generates the pure SOAP request based on my WSDL. So when I click the request here, when I click the request for another, for the multiply. So for the multiply. So and on the left hand side, the SOAP UI will generate a pure SOAP request based on my WSDL. I'm tagged in my X. I change the number, which is maybe is and 4. So when I hit the run, the request is sent and instantly it will shows on the right hand side. So the server will return the SOAP response with the result. In the side-by-side view, makes the enter request response and enter request and response WSDL mappings process as streaming, queue, and visuals. So through developments, my calculates project and testing it with both web tester and SOAP UI. I have gained a solid understanding for how WSDL describe a service and how SOAP securely delivers data. This is completely my video reflections of the web service exercise. So thank you very much for watching and listening.